Boat gang checking in. What's up, you guys? Hope you're all doing great. I actually am filming this video after the running video. I was so excited to get running footage of this. I put that video out first, and basically I recorded me weighing the old setup versus the new setup, as well as right after I did the installation. So I'll throw that in at the end, but this is currently after the most recent video. So here is the Dr. Prop 2-blade that I used on the last video. It's a 45 millimeter. It's similar to a 45 to an M445, but a bit different. It's got a little bit less lift in the back. So when I tried this prop on my Cheetah, because it's less lift, the Cheetah was wanting to lift the nose. And whereas this boat, with the CG moved forward, it had the opposite problem. The prop was kind of hopping. It was trying to lift the back too much. So it actually worked very well on this boat. And I'm thinking, here's some of the props. I'm thinking this is if I can get it out. This is the wrong rotation, but this is a 42. This is a 42 ABC style 4215. So an ABC style prop that I think might actually work really well now that I had the CG forward. I don't need as much lift at the back, but honestly, the Dr. Props is probably good to go. Here's the rudder that I spoke about in the video. This is a Speedmaster. I don't know exactly which one, but it's for the Pearl. It's a dual pickup blade, and I'm kind of thinking I want to put, so when I did the extendo strut on my boat, right, I kind of pushed the prop way past the rudder. Well, it's close. You guys get the idea, right? So I'm kind of thinking throwing this on, right? It only moves it back maybe an inch to an inch and a half, but it would match, and the length I think is more appropriate to the extendo strut. And so eventually I'll get around to doing that, just because I don't like how it's mismatched, and I also would like it a little bit longer. So anyway, all that aside, here's the boat, here's the after run. I kind of already went through it with you guys, but pretty much blown away by this motor. The old 6S setup was a 4068 Sonic Wake V2 motor. 1900 kV, should have been around 42,000 RPM with that, and also slightly more efficient, being that it was a 6S setup. This one is 2300 on 4S, which on paper should only be about 34,000 RPM. But this setup is swinging props that the old setup used to get hot on, and it seems to be swinging them as well, if not better. And so I need to get back out with the GPS and check everything out. But yeah, quite impressive what this thing is doing, because like I said, it's way less RPM, but this motor just doesn't seem to load up. It doesn't seem to care. It just spins the prop better than the old, bigger motor on more volts. So anyway, I'll add the part where I weigh the setups just to show you guys, and quick rundown of the boat. I'm sure you've all already seen it for the most part. I do have an extended strut on it. It is 0.750 inches from the table, right? So someone asked, so that would be from the setup board, which is at the table, to the bottom. So from here to here is 3/4 of an inch. That is where I had always heard to run it, but I did experiment, and that'll vary based on your props and stuff like that. It does have the Mojo fin. Again, really want to rock the Mad Lizard fin from Ryan, but I'm running this because I know for a fact it's dialed in. I already have it perfect. So this is just the benchmark. But this Mojo fin is a highly aggressive curve, which means I'm probably losing speed on this fin. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Mad Lizard fin gained me 2 to 3 miles an hour, just because that thing is a massive hook in the water, an extremely aggressive bend. The bottom of this boat has had the ride pads altered. Basically, the biggest thing is I got rid of the planing wedges up front, and it's more of like a black pearl design now. So now this is, as far as the bottom goes, basically a black pearl, which is kind of the gold standard for hydros. It's a full, those are wooden boats, but those are kind of like the gold standard. So when I'm setting this up, I'm kind of trying to copy Pete, who makes the black pearl, and as far as setup and stuff and CG, I'm going more that way, just because I think the original UL-19 was kind of set up to do 45, 50 miles an hour. It was designed as kind of, an older setup that wasn't designed for big speeds. And so I'm trying to copy the setup of the pearls and kind of go more that direction. But obviously, battery stuffed in the front, you guys know all that. My CG is now midpoint of the fin, which is about perfect, typically, right? That's what hydro guys say. You want, as an axis of rotation, you want it kind of at the middle of the fin. Again, different ways to do it. This is just my current setup. I'll roll the next film. Again, I'm rambling. Hope you guys are doing well, and we'll see you at the lake. What up, guys? Just got a quick package in from OSC. It's my 2300 Tenshock P limited size motor, and it's for the UL-19, so I needed something lightweight to hopefully keep that CG forward, and I just thought I would show you guys. This is the motor that came out. It's a 4068 Sonic Wake V2 motor. Short wires, but 383 grams. No coupler. Here's the new Tenshock motor, 3660. Keep in mind it's got these long wires. So that puts us at 341. And then obviously you've got to add the end bell. So 365-ish. You got to factor in the wires. So slightly, very slightly lighter, which I'm okay with because I do think it's going to make more power. And that's really what I was looking for. I wanted more power on a 4S system. Keep in mind, these longer wires will be made up for with the ESC because the ESC doesn't have leads on it, obviously. And then just real quick, here's an X8S converted, 178 grams. And here is the 150 stump fab that was in the boat at 187. So yeah, overall, a lighter system, should have quite a bit more power and should help me get that weight CG forward since I'm going to have heavier packs. And just want to show you guys a quick weight comparison. It's a bit deceiving because obviously the motor weighs one thing and you've got to add in, the mount for it now. And then it does have these long wires which add weight, which is not necessarily the motor itself, and then tiny nipples. But anyway, very excited. I'm going to get this in the UL-19 and should have it out pretty soon here. All right, UL-19, back in business. Tenshock 3760 motor. Nice and light, fits in there good. X8S Hydra up front. 4S 5000s shoved way up into the nose. And that puts my CG right where it needs to be. So I need to clean this up. I'd like to do hard lines because all this silicone gets heavy. And real nice aluminum 3/16 tubing would be my preference for this. Got the extendo strut, flat bottom, stock rudder with the dual pickup. And want to get rid of these lines. I need to do a little more in terms of wire management. I'm very bad about that. But yeah, motor's in, everything's plumbed up. I got my micro nipples that are at least zip tied, so those are good. I had to splice one wire with an extension. That's fine. And first run out, I'm going to run the Mojo fin. I've got several Mad Lizards to test, but I figure this was tuned in perfect last time. So just a baseline. And yeah, getting it ready, charging up, and get some running footage.